Back in 2023, a strange white mist swallowed half the planet. It made a death zone where humans got psychic powers and animals warped into monsters. Fast forward to centuries to a rundown village sitting right on the edge of that mist. Right here, a red-haired girl is tearing into her brother for being completely out of shape. He has been helping her climb over this wall for nearly an hour, and he is struggling. She has zero sympathy for his pathetic whining, basically calling him trash for skipping leg day. But our boy just grits his teeth, telling her to stop talking and watch what he can do. She peeks over the wall with her binoculars, but he suddenly shouts for her to stop. Turns out, for 7 long years, he has tried absolutely everything to break this invisible barrier. This place is nothing but a prison, and you can see his hope just draining away. It is flickering out like that lantern flame, and honestly, it is tough to watch. Things are even worse because he is slowly going blind from some mystery illness. Despite the pain, his resolve to escape has never been stronger than it is right now. He is finished listening to everyone tell him that leaving is just a pointless, stupid dream. He is done waiting for permission to live his life. He is taking control tonight. Later that night, his sister is sound asleep when a menacing shadow smashes their door down. Our hero shakes her awake with the brilliant question of, "Are you asleep yet?" She gives him the most sarcastic, well-deserved look you have ever seen in your life. With zero time left, he tells her to grab Grandpa Moo and get out of there. She flat out refuses to leave him behind, reminding him of her promise to break the wall. He makes a vow of his own, looking her in the eye and promising everything will be okay. A sudden flashback hits, showing the day that terrifying mist first swallowed their entire town. During the panic 7 years ago, his little sister tripped and got separated from the crowd. A younger version of our boy reached out, screaming for her to grab his hand. He promised they would escape this hell together, no matter what kind of cost it took. That was the exact moment she swore she would stay by his side until he finally broke through. Back in the present, he knows he could wait longer, but Grandpa Moo is fading fast. Their only shot at a cure is finding another human settlement somewhere outside this prison. Then he drops a total bombshell, revealing the Forbidden Zone is only meant to trap him. Now fully awake, she snaps, locking him in a chokehold and refusing to leave him behind. He tries to shove her away, begging her to save herself and Grandpa instead of wasting time. So he switches tactics, suggesting she could leave, get strong, and then return for him later. That actually makes her pause for a second, really considering the logic in his desperate plan. She finally agrees, but she flips the script, saying she will prep so he can leave sooner. Before he can even process that, she grabs his arm, asking him not to go just yet. She pulls him into a tight hug, trying to memorize the moment before everything changes. The next morning, our boy stands outside with his resolve hardened for the long road ahead. At the same time, his sister is driving Grandpa Moo away, leaving their old life behind. She pauses for a second, caught off guard. She weighs his desperate plan. It makes sense, but she's got her own ideas. Before he can even react, she promises to prep everything so he can head out early. Then she grabs his arm. "Don't leave just yet." She pulls him into a hug, desperate to hold on to the moment before everything shifts. The next morning, he stands outside, his resolve hardened for the road ahead. Meanwhile, his sister is already driving Grandpa Moo away. She acts nervous, clearly sweating the luggage check, but tries to play it cool. She tells Grandpa those bags are just extra gear for a job. Moo isn't buying a word of it, knowing full well she's hiding something. He slams his hand against the dashboard, demanding she stop the car. He wants to turn back for his grandson, but his sister floors it. She leaves our boy behind, facing the desolate city all alone. This is Gao Fan. He's walking straight into a death zone that's been festering for 200 years. But here is the kicker. He is the only person known to have ever survived it. Turns out, this whole place runs on a set of mysterious, deadly rules. The only guide, a flawed book, pieced together by generations of the dead. Yet, he just strolls right in, totally calm. He doesn't even glance at the warning signs about abandoning all hope. He is betting his life on a single memory. With his family on the move, Gao Fan is determined to escape or die trying. He marches toward the invisible barrier one last time and pushes through. The shimmering wall gives way, but the world inside is nothing like he expected. Forget the wasteland, he finds flowers blooming right through the snow. This entire city is overgrown, filled with lush, vibrant trees. A secret paradise hidden in plain sight. Gao Fan is stunned. He realizes this supposed no-life zone is actually a thriving, wild ecosystem. For a second, he thinks he has found a new home for his family. He even finds fresh water and fruit. He decides to rest and refuel, taking advantage of the supplies his sister packed. He cooks a hot meal, savoring what might be his first real food in ages. But he's totally unaware of what is coming for him next. Then, mid-bite, his vision whites out as his illness strikes without warning. That dreaded intermittent blindness is back, and at the absolute worst time. He grits his teeth, expecting the usual few seconds of darkness to pass. But this time is different. His eyes flare with a strange, pulsing energy. His sight returns, clearer than ever, revealing a list of rules. They're literally tattooed onto his own arm, leaving Gao Fan completely baffled. These are the restricted area rules. He finally understands breaking them means instant, brutal death. This entire death zone operates on a strict, invisible system. But just as quickly as they appeared, the rules fade from his sight. He connects the dots. He only survived earlier because he washed his hands. He followed a rule he never even knew existed. Now, here's the thing, if he can see those rules, he's basically invincible. Naturally, he tries to trigger the power again, but immediately faceplants. He falls flat on his back, realizing this ability isn't something he can control. He deduces that eating the monster meat must have triggered the reaction. The temporary blindness and the power-up are linked to that meal. Old research confirms it. Monster meat can boost psychic abilities. So now, he just needs to find more to eat. Meanwhile, at a nearby place called the Night Watch Camp, a man gets an alert. Word reaches them about a sudden, violent energy spike in the restricted zone. Captain Li Xin of the Night Watch doesn't hesitate for even a second. He rallies his squad, and they assemble for the mission at lightning speed. Ready for deployment, first up is Yang Hu, the team's close combat ace. He reports for duty, closely followed by the rest of the elite crew. Next is Zhao Lang, the resident sniper with a pretty legendary eye patch. And rounding things out is Zhou Jiaoming, their vital special support member. She immediately starts nagging Captain Li about his still healing injury. He's clearly annoyed, but he cuts her off. They've detected rare psychic crystals. They need to move out now, but his team immediately pushes back. They just barely escape this place, and their captain is still badly hurt. Li Xin slams the table. These crystals are more important than their lives. With orders like that, the squad snaps to attention without another word. 30 minutes later, they're already deep inside the dangerous restricted zone. The target crystal is secured, but they're already on the run. Li Xin orders Yang Hu to take the prize and clear out fast. The rest will provide cover, and Yang Hu doesn't hesitate for a heartbeat. He blasts off at superhuman speed, desperate to get the package out. But it's close. A massive beast lets out a blood-curdling, terrifying roar. An ape-like monster is already hot on their heels through the desolate streets. It launches itself into the air, planning to flatten the captain instantly. Li Xin screams a warning as the monster begins its pounce attack. He yells for his sniper to take the shot and keep it off their runner. Zhao Lang, ever the professional, lines up his target with that massive rifle. He fires a single high-caliber bullet, perfectly infused with psychic energy. It streaks across the frozen landscape, heading straight for the airborne beast. The monster turns its head, barely registering the projectile coming its way. The bullet smashes directly into the side of its skull with incredible force. Yang Hu glances back, cheering on that perfect headshot from his teammate. The creature crashes into a nearby building, looking completely neutralized for now. But it's already getting up, so Young-hoo leaps down to finish it. Now watch this, here is where the real intensity kicks in. He summons his signature technique, a fan of 100 golden spears. In midair, he unleashes his golden spear 100 flowers attack. Young-hoo gives the order, shredding the monster beneath him. He unleashes his ultimate technique with a furious, earth-shaking roar. A literal storm of golden spears rains down from the sky. They slam into the ape monster, seemingly tearing it to absolute shreds. The beast roars back, unleashing a blue shockwave that deflects every spear. That blast wave hits Captain Lee Zin, instantly stripping flesh from his arm. Zhou Jiaomeng screams in pure horror at the sight of the injury. Seeing her captain half skeleton, he just grabs her, yelling out a command. He tells her to bite him, a perfectly sane request in this nightmare. She sinks her teeth into his fist, and green energy begins to glow. It flows up his arm, rapidly regenerating all the vaporized tissue. Skin ripping, muscle tearing, the ape monster is already scaling the skyscraper. The beast is still fighting, so Lee Zin leaps onto its back for a showdown. He climbs the vertical wall, grabbing its tail to steady his next strike. The monster slams him against the concrete, but a golden barrier flares up. That shield blocks the blow, giving Lee Zin the one chance he needs. He screams for his sniper to fire. A psychic bullet streaks through the air. The shot is aimed right at the beast's head, and this one finds its mark. It slams into the monster's eye, and the creature howls in pure, absolute agony. From a distance, Zhi Ling lowers his oversized rifle. Job well done. With the monster down, Lee Zin explains how psychic fluctuations lure these things in. He hopes Yang got out safely, telling Zhao Meng they need to pull out. They start their long trek out of the desolate, snow-covered ruins. But just as they head out, Captain Lee freezes. He catches a weird smell. The whole squad follows his gaze, their jaws hitting the floor at the sight. Down there, some random kid is having a full-on hot pot party. Right in the middle of a death zone, he's not just surviving, he's thriving. He's enjoying his meal without a care, until a sharp voice cuts the silence. Before he can react, a glowing golden spear is pressed against his throat. It's Captain Lee, and he looks completely unamused by this bizarre picnic. Gao Fan immediately throws his hands up, claiming he's just a normal guy. That probably doesn't inspire much confidence, so the captain suspects a criminal. Lee orders Xiaomei to pull out the scanner, ready to dig up any hidden secrets. She happily obliges, pointing the device at this weirdo to look for trouble. The machine beeps, analyzing Gao Fan while he tries not to look guilty. It turns out he's completely clean, with a psychic score near 0. A non-threat, and that only makes Lee Zin even more suspicious. How did a bottom-tier psychic even sneak into this death trap? He gives Gao Fan an icy death glare, making the kid rethink his life choices. With his life on the line, he realizes he needs a way out fast. His genius plan: offer the heavily armed death squad a bowl of soup. But before they can process that, a massive danger alert flares in the sky. A whole herd of mutant beasts is stampeding straight toward their position. Lee Zin realizes their earlier fight acted like a dinner bell for this horde. He orders Xiaomei to grab their guest while the team preps for war. Xiaomei starts to panic, asking what the captain is planning to do. Lee Zin just flares with golden energy. He's holding the line himself. He tells her to get Gao Fan out, convinced the kid is hiding something big. Then he unleashes a pillar of light that vaporizes the incoming horde. As she drags him away, Gao Fan's mind races back to Grandpa Moo's warning. Psychics aren't just powerful. In this world, they're treated like criminals. Grandpa Moo burns with energy, declaring he'll hold the line all by himself. He urges her to get Gao Fan to safety, dead certain the kid is hiding something big. Right then, he unleashes a massive pillar of light that vaporizes the entire horde. As she pulls him away, Gao Fan's mind flashes back to Moo's warning, psychics are criminals. He tells Novo his eyesight is perfectly fine. Thank you very much. His first instinct, try and save his abandoned hot pot. Classic. She just ignores him, throws him over her shoulder like a sack of groceries. She starts running, and honestly, he's just being unceremoniously hauled away. While dangling there, he mulls over how psychics always act superior. It's a lesson he learned the hard way in these lawless zones. People with powers are usually just straight-up murderers. From his upside-down view, he watches Zimeng leap between crumbling rooftops. Her landing is rough, nearly snapping our boy's spine in the process. He immediately starts complaining about it, loud and clear. That terrible posture of hers is going to paralyze him for life. She tells him to shut it or she drop him. He goes dead silent. Because behind them, Captain Lee has transformed into a towering golden warrior. He's holding back a literal tide of monsters with sheer force. Zimeng just proudly confirms it. Yep, that's their captain. In full-on battle mode, the Golden Titan winds up, channeling an insane amount of energy into that massive spear. With one clean sweep, he carves through the entire enemy rank. Gao Fan is completely astounded, realizing this power level is real. It is something he never even knew existed until this moment. She drops the bomb. They are not just any psychics. They are the legendary Night Watch as they finally break through the mist. He's still wrapping his head around it as they flee. Gao Fan realizes they're about to splat against the zone's invisible barrier. He tries to convince Zimeng to take a break. She is having none of his excuses. Zero chance of stopping. He plays the I am too sick to cross this card. Pathetic. It fails spectacularly because she is just following orders. No negotiations. But that triggers a memory of rules tattooed on his arm. He recalls one about an invisible way to pass an invisible wall. It finally clicks for him. There is a loophole. A specific condition for getting out of this dangerous place. The problem, he has no clue what an invisible way even is. Then his galaxy brain connects the dots. An invisible path. It is a path you literally cannot see with your eyes. His brilliant, totally not insane solution. Just close your eyes and charge. Without warning, he shoves Zimeng forward, testing his wild theory. They both go tumbling right through the barrier, crashing onto the grass. Gao Fan sits up, looking way cooler than he has any right to. He looks out at a peaceful lawn he has been staring at for 7 years. Finally free, he celebrates with all the subtlety of a fire alarm. But this moment right here, it's where things get complicated. His party is cut short by an interrogation at the Night Watch base. He gives his name as Yishiki, while that sniper Zileng watches. She handles the questioning, starting with his age, 17. Next is gender, which he confirms is male, just in case. The guy is confused, but Zileng finally cuts to the chase. What is he doing in a death zone? Our boy gives the most honest answer possible. He was just trying to enjoy some hot pot. Zileng isn't having it, pointing out the 99.96% death rate for anyone normal. So Gao Fan gives the only logical answer. He went there specifically to die. Obviously, this sniper isn't impressed by the edgy routine, warning him not to joke with the Night Watch. Their standoff gets interrupted by Captain Lezen, who hobbles in looking like a mummy's understudy. He casually brushes off any concern for his health, confirming he is far too stubborn to die. Lezen takes over the interrogation, reminding Gao Fan that he saw him go full golden god mode. He asks the million-dollar question, how did a normal person survive 7 years in a death trap? Our boy explains he was just stuck behind some invisible wall that wouldn't let him out. The entire squad looks at him like he is insane, since they have never heard of such a thing. Gao Fan decides it is story time, ready to launch into the 7-year saga of the invisible wall. Jiaomeng is already tearing up over how completely outrageous his tale sounds. Leeson theorizes his eyes must have a special ability the scanner missed. His E-rank is a lie. To prove it, he orders Zileng to put Gao Fan's supposed supervision to the test. The sniper pulls out a knife, and Gao Fan just tells him to watch very carefully. Suddenly, Zileng unleashes a blindingly fast series of slashes right in front of his face. When asked for the count, Gao Fan casually nails the exact number of 67 slashes. That settles it for the captain, who pegs him as at least a C rank with enhanced dynamic vision. His next order is a bit less friendly: test his powers, and if anything is off, dissect him. Gao Fan immediately starts screaming that he would rather not be autopsied today. Thank you very much. Once he is dragged away, Jiao Ling asks the captain if he actually buys any of that wild story. Lezen admits the kid's story is full of holes, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy either. So Gao Fan is promptly strapped to a gurney, where he meets the doctor in charge of his test. She immediately gets way too close for comfort, pinching his cheek while he panics internally. This is Sister Novo, the camp's medical officer, who has a very loose definition of personal space. Her first order of business is a vision test, which seems a bit tame for a potential dissection. Gao Fan scoffs at the chart, boasting that his eyesight is perfectly fine. Thank you very much. But Novo tells him to try exploring his eye's other functions. Now watch this, his eyes suddenly start glowing gold. He focuses on the chart across the room, his vision sharpening to an impossible degree. He zooms in so close, he can practically count the atoms on the lettering. Then his vision punches right through the wall, revealing the raw material on the other side. He realizes he has X-ray vision, a fact confirmed by accidentally spying on a kid in the next room. As Novo asks him a simple question, he starts wondering if this new power works on people too. One quick glance is all it takes. But Novo pushes him, telling him to test if his eyes have other hidden functions. They start glowing gold. He focuses on the chart across the room. His vision sharpens to an impossible degree, zooming in tight. He can practically count the atoms on the lettering. Then his sight punches right through the concrete wall. He spots the raw materials on the other side. He realizes he's got X-ray vision. He confirms it by accidentally spying on a kid in the next room. Novo asks him a question, but he's already wondering, does this work on people too? One quick glance shows a desolate, snowy street where they were last together. He gives her a messy, definitive look that says it all. She's totally thrown off by his sudden nosebleed right in the middle of an eye exam. Meanwhile, our guy is drifting in a daze, mumbling about the wild sights he just saw. The official printout confirms his alias, Shiki, has a C+ talent rank. He stares at the paper, having absolutely no clue if a C+ is actually impressive. Novo sits him down for a crash course on how the psychic power scale works. She explains the 6 ranks from S down to E, where most psychics end up. Turns out, S and her rank talents are the absolute 1%ers of the psychic world. They wield an imaginable power that most people can't even dream of. She lays out the hierarchy, from standard superhumans to the ultra-rare mystics and elementals. Novo clarifies that while C rank is 4th on the list, it's still way up the food chain. It finally clicks for Gao Fan. His C+ rank explains why he's been seeing extra stuff. But she gives him a crucial warning: other powerful psychics can detect his X-ray vision. He immediately stammers that he's still a total amateur, remembering his little nosebleed incident. Seeing his potential, Novo offers him a full scholarship to the National Psychic Academy. This place is basically Psychic Harvard, a high-tech city with the best resources around. It has a direct pipeline to the Night Watch, but the exclusivity is insane. Only the top third of all awakened psychics even get through the front door. This hits home for Gao Fan, who admits he dreamed of being a night watchman as a kid. You can see the pure, unadulterated hope in his eyes. Does he actually have a shot? Novo just hands him an official ID card, certifying him as a safe psychic, free to go. Oh boy is in total shock, realizing he won't be dissected after all. He's finally a free man, and she just laughs, telling him Li Zhen's threats were all an act. With his freedom secured, his first priority is finding Grandpa Mew and Sister Shuinger. The scene flashes back 8 hours to a desolate, snowy street where they were last together. A distraught Grandpa Mew is consumed by guilt, blaming himself for leaving Yoshiki in the death zone. Red-haired Shuinger insists it was his choice, believing the wall could only be broken from the inside. She makes a solemn promise to the old man she'd become a psychic and rescue him. But right then, a massive explosion erupts down the street, catching them off guard. A stampede of armored, red-dyed mutant rhinos is charging straight for their position. They barely scramble into a van just as the chaos kicks off, the stampede hot on their tail. Grandpa Mew's brilliant strategy, chucking some cardboard boxes at the multi-ton monsters. It's a desperate move, but shockingly, it only seems to rile up the lead rhino. A distraught Grandpa Mew is consumed by guilt, blaming himself for leaving Ishiki behind. The red-haired Schuninger insists it was his choice. The wall had to break from inside. She makes a solemn promise to the old man she'd become a psychic and rescue him. Suddenly, a massive explosion rips through the street, catching them totally off guard. A stampede of armored, red-dyed mutant rhinos is charging straight for them. They barely scramble into a van just as the chaos kicks off. Now the entire stampede is hot on their tails down the frozen road. Grandpa Mew's brilliant strategy, chucking cardboard boxes at the multi-ton monsters. Shockingly, it only seems to make the lead rhino even angrier. Our boy stares out the window, completely oblivious to the citywide manhunt. He's so bored he lets out a yawn that could probably clear a room. The next day, Dudu cheerfully calls for Gao Fan to come get some lunch. Fuming, he burns through his last rounds, realizing they're about to become roadkill. He screams at Zhu Ying to slam the back door and just floor it. But it's too late. One of the beasts is already right on top of them. Then, some random brawler appears out of nowhere. He stops the charging rhino with one hand, holding the monster back single-handedly. He gives the van a chance to escape, winding up a glowing blue punch. He lets it rip, sending the beast flying. Their mysterious savior then casually hops into the back with a stunned Grandpa Mew. The guy is clearly injured, but he just yells at Zhu Ying to keep driving. No questions asked, she hits the gas, finally putting some distance between them and the rest of the horde. Looking back, they see the street littered with the rhinos he took down. Grandpa Mew frets over the guy's wounds, but Zhu Ying is more concerned with who the hell he is. Their new passenger cuts them off, warning that the danger is far from over, and right on cue, glowing red claws tear through the roof of their van, ripping the heavy metal apart like it's made of wet paper. Turns out they've attracted the attention of a massive, eagle-like monster. From above, their new bodyguard jumps out, telling them to drive on while he handles this mess. He shoves a glowing green crystal at Zhu Ying, ordering her to get it to the military. Before she can process that he's a soldier, she spots more trouble ahead. That giant eagle monster is diving right back down on top of them. The beast's talons tear at the van, but their bodyguard meets it with another glowing fist. He lands a brutal uppercut right in its beak, trying to push it back, roaring at the monster to back off, holding it at bay with pure strength. The van floors it, leaving him to face the city block-sized bird all alone. With his back to them, he makes them promise to deliver the crystal, vowing that he won't die a worthless death as he prepares for the final clash. Grandpa Mew wants to go back, but Zhu Ying knows they must honor the guy's sacrifice. She stares at the strange artifact, wondering what could possibly be worth dying for. The second her fingers graze the crystal, it erupts with blinding light. A massive surge of teal energy completely overwhelms her. This raw power explodes out of the van, sending a shockwave tearing down the street. Back with the soldier, he's about to be shredded, but he turns just in time to see the tidal wave of energy coming for them. This blast hits the monster head-on with catastrophic force, completely vaporizing it and the soldier in an instant. When the light finally fades, the street is silent, empty. That's when a new guy with a scar shows up, demanding to know what just happened. This scarred man stands there, completely dumbfounded, wondering where the giant bird went. He quickly puts two and two together. That crystal must have fused with someone. We then cut to a nearby town where Grandpa Mew is just starting to come to his senses, waking up in some high-tech facility. The medical bay is pure chaos, a staff scrambling everywhere in a total panic. He grabs the closest person, desperate, begging to know where his granddaughter is. The woman with purple hair just points calmly toward the other side. She asks if he means the girl, and Grandpa Mew spins around. His eyes blue-wide in pure, absolute horror at what he sees. She is floating right there, suspended inside a massive containment unit. Encased in a jagged green crystal, she is completely knocked out. Glowing with that same creepy energy that nuked the monster, she's barely visible. He lunges out of bed, screaming for someone to explain what they did. But a new doctor steps in, voice dead calm, telling him it is not them. Not exactly the kind of answer a terrified old man needs right now. This doctor clarifies her coma is the direct result of fusing with that crystal. And it finally clicks for Grandpa Mew as he remembers the glowing rock. The soldier handed it to them. It all makes sense now. The doctor shows him a scan, the crystal fully integrated into her body, leaving the old man to wonder what will happen as that power courses through her. Turns out, if this goes well, she is about to wake up a full-blown psychic. Grandpa Mew cannot believe it. He insists she never had a shred of potential. But the doctor explains that some people awaken late or have powers suppressed. It is extremely rare, but she might just be a living example of this. This doctor warns Grandpa Mew she is stable, sure, but definitely not safe. That massive energy blast, it just put a giant target on her back. Some group called God's followers is already coming for her. Grandpa Mew has absolutely no idea who these people are. Honestly, that is a perfectly reasonable reaction given how insane this sounds. This doctor clarifies they are a high-powered terrorist group made of psychics. This cult thinks their powers are actual fragments of a living god. To them, the apocalypse is just their deity making a grand entrance. Their whole plan, wipe out the old world to make room for a new one. Classic villain move, according to their dogma, only the strongest psychics survive. Now that she is basically a psychic beacon, they want her as an apostle. And if she refuses their generous offer, they will just end her on the spot. But if she does join them, the Night Watch will have to take her out anyway. Talk about a real bind, she is trapped between a rock and a hard place. Meanwhile, high up on a snowy skyscraper, someone is already on the move. A cloaked figure spots the target from above, confirming he has found her. He gets a call from his boss, who offers this raven a promotion. He gets the title of Ninth Apostle if he brings the girl in alive. Raven seems more than a little eager to accept, in the creepiest way possible. Elsewhere, Gao Fan is just trying to get a quiet bus right through the city. He is looking out the window, completely oblivious to the citywide manhunt. He is so bored he lets out a massive yawn. He has no clue how much his life is about to change. She has no idea about the storm brewing outside. Dudu peeks into his room with a bright, cheerful good morning. The glass shatters accidentally. He slams his head straight into the window, and right at that moment, the bus driver hits the brakes, screeching to a dead stop. Passengers go flying everywhere as the driver starts screaming. At something ahead, he bellows at everyone to shut their mouths, threatening to toss out anyone who makes a single sound. Gao Fan's ears perk up at the word monster, his quiet ride officially ruined. He cautiously peers out the window to see what all the fuss is about, and spots a winged demonic beast just chilling in the middle of the snow. The thing's got glowing purple eyes and razor-sharp teeth. Definitely not here for a chat. Gao Fan is having a minor internal meltdown. With a shriek, the creature takes to the sky, making a beeline for the bus, but the driver steps out, revealing he's a retired night watchman and a total psychic nutcase. He stands his ground as that winged terror dives right at him from above. He summons a glowing energy sword, swearing to protect everyone. With his life, they clash in a massive burst of light as Gao Fan laments, being a psychic with zero combat skills to his name. Still, he refuses to just sit back and watch them all get slaughtered. He's determined to help. His own eyes begin to glow, activating his vision. He sees the other passengers are just normal people, panicking about their impending doom, but then he notices his ability is showing him some new information. He starts scanning everyone on the bus, looking for someone actually useful. Turns out a buff guy is an E-rank psychic with skin hardening, a decent start. And an old man nearby is also E-rank with something called Starfire. Unfortunately, the strong guy is paralyzed by pure fear, and the grandpa is too frail to fight. This hits Gao Fan hard. He thought psychics were all gods, but the reality is way grimmer. Just as Gao Fan has this revelation, the driver gets absolutely slammed into the pavement. But the old man gets right back up, glowing, taunting the beast to come get some. He leaps into the fray with his energy blade, roaring that he's not going down that easily. Meanwhile, this so-called strong guy is having a meltdown, crying about how they're all gonna die. Some dude in a suit starts coldly calculating that the driver should be able to win even if it costs him his life. That earns him a well-deserved slap right across the face, courtesy of our Starfire grandpa, who points out the driver is the only reason they're not dead yet. He reminds the cowards that the man is retired. He has zero obligation to die for them, despite his age. He powers up his own ability, ready to throw down and help. Seeing this, the hardening guy finally gets it together and stands up too. Gao Fan then drops the bad news that monster is D+ rank, meaning they are totally outclassed, and he knows if the others fall, he's next on the menu. So, with a clenched fist, he decides. Done being a spectator, our boy stands up, introducing himself as a support-type psychic, and volunteers to jump into the fray. The others just stare, completely unimpressed by his E-rank and non-combat role. He quickly explains that while support types aren't really fighters, he can still be useful with intel and coordination. With a grin, he tells them they're in this together, time to act like a team. Outside, the driver is getting pummeled by the demon's shadow attacks. His energy sword is barely holding back the onslaught, and the monster lands a massive blow, sending the old watchman flying. Gao Fan and the other to psychic step out, telling the driver they are ready to help take that demon down for good. But the watchman isn't having it, yelling he almost died and cannot babysit a bunch of amateurs. So Gao Fan drops the bad news. That demon's tail is poisonous. The driver has 3 minutes to live. This understandably gets the old man's full and undivided attention. Gao Fan explains his ability lets him track extra intel, like lethal poison timers. The old guy immediately trusts the kid, asking if he's sure about the diagnosis. Without waiting for an answer, he powers up his own ability with a roar, launching a massive fireball to create a much-needed diversion. This ball of pure energy flies straight at the winged monster, detonating in a huge explosion that fills the entire street with thick smoke. The driver immediately complains that he cannot see anything, which was kind of the whole point. He clutches his side as the poison starts spreading. The pain is clearly setting in, but it turns out the watchman used the smoke as cover to get close, buying them precious seconds. He shoves his flaming hand right onto the wound, explaining it'll cauterize the area and stop the spread. The driver is shocked that this sickly kid's intel was actually useful, a real vote of confidence. Just as they patch him up, the smoke clears and the demon spots its prey. It dives in for the kill, claws out, ready to finish them both off. But a new body slams in front, taking the full force of the blow. It is the skin-hardening dude, his body glowing as he tanks the demons attack head-on, yelling that his defense will not hold forever. So they better come up with a plan fast. With the tank occupied, the demon immediately turns its attention to the squishiest target available. Gao Fan, our boy, instantly realizes this thing is smart enough to go for the weakest link, which is definitely him. And just like that, the winged beast makes a beeline for him, ready to take out the trash. The others scream a warning, but Gao Fan just stands his ground, his hands crackling with energy. He has spent his whole life running from monsters, barely surviving the chaos. But now he is a psychic, and he is absolutely done being the victim. Gao Fan triggers his vision boost, pushing that power to the absolute edge. A secret trump card he has been holding back, just for a moment. Turns out all those long hours staring out the bus window. Productive training. He was building this up the whole time. He has never pushed it this far. And this is one massive gamble. As the guy with the iron skin rushes in, Gao Fan keeps his eyes locked on the frozen demon. With a grin, he decides to go even further. Suddenly, he is not just stopping time. He is seeing the monster's future moves, purple after images swirling all around him. A bit overwhelming, to say the least. He realizes this isn't some hallucination, it is a full combat prediction. This is his big moment, his chance to finally control the fight. Right before he trips over a rock and eats pavement, a truly majestic fail. Luckily, the Iron Skin tank arrives just in time to intercept the demon. A solid punch lands, and the monster recoils, baffled by the hit. Our boy watches in disbelief as the tank nails a clean right hook. Gao Fan is still processing his epic faceplant. He is stunned on the ground, eyes seeing every attack coming. But his body, it just cannot keep up with his own predictions. The others stare, debating if he is a master strategist or just insanely lucky. Meanwhile, our boy is screaming for help. Imminent death wasn't in the plan. Finally getting the hint, the old watchman leaps into the fray. His glowing sword swings with enough force to end this mess for good. One clean, decisive blow, and the demon's head is gone. As the monster dissolves into dust, the driver tells everyone to get lost. Elsewhere, a mysterious old man and his strange horse enjoy the city view, sitting on a ledge in a blizzard, looking way too calm. His gaze is sharp, clearly searching for something or someone. After the ordeal, Gao Fan finally steps off the bus. His quiet ride is over. But before he leaves, the grandpa stops him for a quick chat. He says rank means nothing, that true strength comes from within. The driver and the tank both agree, saying he has what it takes. Gao Fan is stunned. He is not used to this kind of praise. He awkwardly thanks them for the encouragement and heads on his way. Feeling a bit more confident, then reality hits. He is alone in the city. He has no clue where Xiying is. He pulls out a note he was given. A phone number for a job. A way to survive in this new world. Staring at Xiying's picture on his phone, he knows he needs to get stronger. With his job hunt on hold, he cheerfully asks a stranger for a phone. He gets a deeply suspicious side-eye for his troubles. This guy gets defensive, asking why Gao Fan lacks his own device. Our boy just smiles. Keep your cool. You have got to see where this goes. He does not let the rejection stop him for even a second. There is a goal to reach, and he is not backing down now. He just keeps walking, moving forward into the chaos of this city. He admits he doesn't have one, asks if they're even expensive. Turns out every single person over 12 has to carry one. That just makes the guy more suspicious. He points right at Gao Fan, accusing him of being some clueless foreigner. Gao Fan is just baffled, totally lost, wondering what he did wrong. But things go downhill fast. The guy is already on his phone reporting a suspicious agent. He's giving a full description of the so-called threat right now. But when he spins around to point again, Gao Fan has vanished into thin air. Hiding in a nearby alley, our guy finally catches his breath. He just dodged a massive bullet. His psychic vision had warned him. It picked up on the guy's growing hostility and intense weariness. Now he's left wondering what on earth a God follower is. Why are they so feared? But those deep questions take a back seat to the fact that he's starving and hopelessly lost. He stumbles through the snow, totally overwhelmed by his brand new, very complicated life, with zero idea where to go or what to do. Then a glowing neon sign for the Red Romance Bar catches his eye. Suddenly, the door swings open and a woman with purple hair steps out. Casually eating a snack, she stops dead, locking eyes with the kid. He's standing there in the cold, and she looks immediately intrigued. His innocent expression is rare in this world. She moves right into his personal space, calling him little brother with a predatory grin. She asks if he is here to play. Gao Fan just blushes red. Leaning in close, she whispers an offer for a drink. She is laying on the charm, but the vibe gets shattered instantly. His stomach lets out a growl for its life. The woman bursts out laughing. Realizing the kid is just starving, her attitude shifts entirely. She asks his name and age, seeing him as a lost puppy. A green-haired woman named Lily shows up, surprised that her friend Yudu has a guest. Lily sizes Gao Fan up immediately, commenting on how handsome he is. He nervously introduces himself as Ishiki. 17 years old and clearly in way over his head, Yudu notes he will be 18 next year, which seems like a weirdly important detail to her. But her friend Lily jumps to a completely different, wild conclusion, joking that he meant 17 years for one night. Our boy looks like he's seen a ghost, ready to have a panic attack. He starts shouting that he is a good citizen, that he promised. The Knights watch he wouldn't do anything bad. The women just stare, completely stunned by his pure, unadulterated innocence. Then they both lose it, laughing hysterically at his panic declaration. Turns out the Red Romance Bar is just a normal, nationwide chain, not some shady den of vice. After teasing his wild imagination, Dudu tells Lily to grab him some food before he passes out, so Lily happily grabs his hand and drags the bewildered kid inside for a proper meal. A while later, Gao Fan is patting his full stomach after inhaling everything. He finished several bowls of noodles while his host watches in total awe. She is actually wondering if he got kicked out of his home for eating everything. With his stomach finally full, Dudu asks why he is wandering the city alone. Gao Fan explains his situation to her. He was separated from his family and is now searching for them, town by town. The women are stunned, wondering how he has managed to survive this long. Since he is not starving, he admits he needs a job to fund his search. But he has absolutely no marketable skills, which makes things tricky. Conveniently, Lily mentions the Red Romance Bar is hiring a waiter for simple work. Our boy's eyes light up, completely thrilled at the prospect of finally earning cash. Lily quickly clarifies that there is no set salary. He has to earn all his wages directly from the customers. She adds that female clients are known to tip very generously for good service at night, which makes Gao Fan's brain short-circuit. He is already calculating the insane number of noodles he could buy. It takes a second, but he finally questions the details. Why does the big money only seem to come out after dark? They tell him it depends on his skills, looking like a pair of friendly demons. Just like that, the alarm bells in Gao Fan's head start ringing. He can feel that something is definitely very wrong here. He tries to convince himself he is just overthinking things. A job is a job. But then his eyes turn into literal dollar signs. The pay is too good to pass up, so he strikes a dramatic pose. He proudly accepts the position of waiter at the Red Romance Bar. These women are ecstatic, promising he will be the star of the show. As Lily goes to get his uniform, Gao Fan is still a bit lost. He wonders what kind of special clothes he could possibly need for this. Looking at the building, his gut feeling returns. This is not a regular bar. Late at night, the establishment is buzzing with crowds heading inside. The interior is a full-blown nightclub, packed with people having a wild time. Inside, the party is in full swing, and the energy is hitting the roof. Drinks are flowing, the music is cranked up, and Gao Fan is ready. He stands in his new uniform, looking about as comfortable as a cat in a bathtub. Now watch this, it takes 5 seconds for a group of women to spot him. They immediately swarm the handsome new hire, asking if he is the fresh face. He nervously confirms it is his first day on the floor. Completely surrounded and out of his depth, he starts to panic. One woman gets right in his space, asking about special services. That sends our boy into a total tailspin. Lily definitely skipped that part of the orientation. He is already holding a fat stack of cash, trying to rationalize it. His brain is screaming that his soul better not be corrupted by money. But the women just find his panicked innocence adorable. They promise to come back for him another time. Turns out these stressed city dwellers just wanted to pay someone to listen. With his pockets lined with cash and a lipstick stain on his cheek, he's having a total existential crisis about his new career path. He tries to wash away the day's absolute weirdness in the shower. His bizarre new life is nothing like the safe, normal world he'd imagined. His mind flashes back to that day, awakening his powers, shattering a wall to save Shunjur. The intense military interrogation followed that, then the demon attack on the bus. Just another casual Tuesday for him, right? Now he's a professional companion at a nightclub. His powers are spiking, and he knows he has to master them fast. He focuses inward, trying to grip that golden core of his newfound psychic ability. But his imagination spirals into what this job actually entails, and his innocent soul is definitely not ready for it. Meanwhile, in a private room, the club's real boss, Sister Hong, looks unimpressed. Her sharp gaze misses nothing, and she absolutely hates surprises in her establishment. Suddenly, Dodo pops in, greeting her boss without a single care in the world. She explains they hired a new kid just to cover the staffing shortage. Hong doesn't care about the staff. She wants to know if there's any real news in town. Turns out, Dodo has major intel. A frozen girl just appeared and is with the Night's Watch now. That gets Hong's attention. She orders Dodo to find out exactly who this mystery girl is. From the showers, Gao Fan overhears it all, realizing this bar is an intel gathering front. Suddenly, Sister Hong's instincts flare up. She senses she's being watched. She whirls around, demanding to know who is listening in. Our boy's psychic vision captures the entire exchange from a safe distance. He pulls back just in time, heart pounding after almost getting caught on day one. This eavesdropping power is a game changer, but it is incredibly dangerous. Back in the room, a confused Dodo asks Sister Hong what just happened. But Hong's eyes narrow, her mind jumping straight to that convenient new hire. Dodo just confirms it again, still not understanding the danger she's brought into their operation. The next day, she cheerfully calls for Gao Fan to grab some lunch. She's completely unaware of the storm brewing. Dodo peeks into his room with a bright good morning. She catches Gao Fan mid-push-up, looking completely taken off guard. The sight of his physique sends her into a full-blown fangirl meltdown. She lunges at him, demanding to touch, sending our boy scrambling for his life. Dodo plays it cool, asking why he's running when she just wanted lunch. He nervously reminds her that workplace harassment is generally frowned upon, even here. That just amuses her, commenting on how quickly he's picked up on the world's bad habits. Gao Fan just tries to keep his head down, but the chaos is only just starting. She finds Gao Fan mid-push-up, looking completely caught off guard. The sight of his physique sends her into a full-blown fangirl meltdown. She lunges at him, demanding to touch, sending our boy scrambling for his life. Dudu plays it cool, asking why he's running when she just wanted lunch. He nervously reminds her that workplace harassment is generally frowned upon, even here. This just amuses her, commenting on how quickly he's picked up on the world's bad habits. Gao Fan just sighs, wondering what kind of mess he's walked into. Heard that workplace harassment is generally frowned upon, even here. This just amuses her, commenting on how fast he picked up on the world's bad things. Gao Fan. He tries to get her out of his room. He needs to get dressed in peace. But her friendly mask drops instantly. She asks if he spied on Sister Hong. That question hits him like a truck. His secret is completely blown. He tries to play dumb, acting like he has no idea what she means. So Dudu slams him against the wall, confirming the bar is an intelligence front. She reveals she knows all about his psychic eyes and demands his intentions. Turns out this isn't an interrogation. It is a job offer to become their new agent. Gao Fan's first thought, he's losing his freedom. He asks if he can refuse. Dudu is shocked by his rejection. She insists he's a perfect fit for red romance. He disagrees. He has bigger goals than being an informant. He needs to get stronger. He thanks her for her kindness, but makes it clear he cannot stay here forever. There is a reason he has to reach the restricted zone, even if it kills him. Dudu just accepts it, saying in their line of work, everyone has something to hide. She points him toward a recently cleared zone, a perfect spot for a rookie to scavenge. She even tosses him a clean phone as a parting gift. She promises it is not bugged, preloaded with her and Lily's numbers. She leaves the door wide open for his return. Oh boy is genuinely touched by the gesture. He calls out to her one last time. Dudu immediately mistakes it for him changing his mind. But he is just saying thanks. Her disappointment is palpable. Those high hopes are instantly crushed into dust. Gao Fan makes a dramatic, glowing promise that he will definitely be back to repay her. He heads out into the snowy city. Her voice echoes back. You promise, right? Back inside, Dudu and Lily watch him go, reflecting on their weird life as brokers. Meanwhile, Gao Fan checks his map, realizing his psychic powers have stalled. They need a real challenge. He decides restricted Area 77 is the only place he can break through his limits, no matter the risk. Hours later, he arrives at a bleak, snowy encampment teeming with other hunters. He walks through the crowd, a lone kid in a sea of hardened professionals. Turns out this place is a gold rush for psychics looking to score big. Suddenly, a massive guy with a blue braid grabs his shoulder, asking if he's flying solo. Gao Fan confirms he's here alone, looking for work, not intimidated in the slightest. This man introduces himself as a Class C captain, conveniently looking for a team member. He then asks the million-dollar question, what is Gao Fan's rank? With a quick scan, his psychic eyes reveal the whole squad is a mix of C and D listers. So he calmly tells the captain he is a level E. That is probably not the answer the captain was expecting. The guy absolutely loses it, laughing that an E-rank rookie has the nerve to show up here. But that mockery triggers something in Gao Fan. His psychic eyes flare to life. He gets a front row seat to the captain's very grim future. His vision reveals a parasitic demon latched deep onto the man's soul. Through his psychic vision, he sees it, a parasitic demon latched deep inside. It's rotting the man's mind, pulling his strings like some grotesque, soul-sucking puppet master. Then comes the premonition, horrifying and clear, the captain, about to be devoured. He sees the guy pathetically begging his own crew for mercy. Before he abandons them all to die, Gao Fan realizes this captain is a walking disaster. A total red flag, ready to betray his own team without a second thought. He's seen enough, so he turns his back on the whole mess. That captain stops him, voice dripping with condescension, pointing toward the wrong way. He sneers that the exit for low-level scrubs is back the other way. Gao Fan doesn't even flinch, just flatly stating he's entering the zone anyway. That suicide note of a declaration earns him a fresh round of mocking laughter. He walks right past them, casually muttering that he'd rather die alone than follow a coward. That comment hits home, and the captain demands to know exactly what he meant. Gao Fan just shrugs it off, telling him to consider him a dead man walking. He heads off into the shadows, leaving the entire crew completely baffled. They don't know what to make of this intensely strange rookie. The captain, though, is left with a sinking, very uneasy feeling in his gut. As he walks, Gao Fan knows he's way out of his league here. An E-rank adventurer in a sea of D-ranks is basically a death sentence. He realizes joining a team is pointless. He'd just be used as cannon fodder. With 0 options left, Gao Fan decides he'll brave the restricted zone alone. He remembers Dodo's briefing about the white mist blanketing the entire area like a dome. Most hunters use the thinner patches of fog to sneak inside. Other teams have the expensive gear to survive the trip, but our guy, stuck with a basic compass and absolutely 0 cash. But watch this, here is where the game changes for him. He's got a built-in cheat code, his psychic eyes, cutting right through the thick fog. He immediately spots something nasty lurking deep within the ruins. Turns out the place is crawling with D-rank mist demons. They hunt down anyone unlucky enough to get lost in here. He figures they won't bother him as long as he looks like he knows the way. And sure enough, the creatures just ignore him. Even though the place is still a total death trap, he's moving steady. Then one of the demons suddenly snaps to attention, eyes glowing with dark purpose. It takes off like a rocket, completely ignoring Gao Fan as it sprints past. At that exact moment, a truck full of hunters barrels through the thick fog. The driver's yelling, and the captain is absolutely freaking out. He slams on the brakes right in the middle of the road. The crew is caught off guard, demanding to know what the hell is happening. Their leader senses a weird energy spike, wondering if it's just a trick. They drive on, narrowly missing our boy. Gao Fan is hiding behind a wrecked car, having a minor heart attack. He remembers Dodo's warning. Getting caught here without a license means solitary confinement. After they pass, he lets out a huge, shaky sigh of relief. He thinks he's in the clear, but the moment he relaxes, his eyes lock onto something glowing. Red text flickers in the air, a bizarre list of local rules. Gao Fan realizes the rules. Don't cry, wash your hands before eating. His psychic eyes let him read the zone's hidden rules. Massive advantage. For any rookie, he is thrilled. He thinks he found the ultimate survival guide for a casual stroll through hell. So he starts memorizing the list. And the first rule is actually sensible. Do not kill each other. With newfound confidence, he ventures deeper into the desolate, snow-covered ruins all alone. He notices the mist thinning, which means the real party is just about to start. Right on cue, a shadowy Wolf with red eyes emerges from the fog. Our boy's confidence immediately evaporates, replaced by pure, unadulterated panic. This is not just any Wolf. It is a deranged monster, and is charging straight for him. The size difference is a little bit intimidating, with the beast absolutely towering over him. It even seems to be laughing, drooling at the thought of a meal, until the terrifying illusion shatters, revealing a very fluffy, very happy-looking husky. Gao Fan is completely baffled, trying to process if he is actually seeing a goofy dog in a death zone. Still, he readies his knife because anything that survives here has to be a monster. The two of them have a tense standoff in the snowy street, which the husky immediately breaks by rolling over and wagging its tail like a maniac. Gao Fan slowly lowers his weapon, realizing this thing is not aggressive in the slightest. He is left, wondering if this is just some random pet that wandered into restricted territory. The dog just sits there looking like the goodest boy, clearly not planning an attack. Then it hits him. Dogs have an amazing sense of smell, and he is carrying steak. He pulls out the meat and the husky's eyes turn to hearts, confirming it's one true motive. He tosses the steak into the air, and the husky goes absolutely ballistic for it. Gao Fan is still on high alert, convinced this is some kind of deadly fluffy trap, but the dog completely fumbles the catch, letting the steak bounce right off its head. Just like that, all his theories are out the window. It is just a stupid dog. He gives the husky the food, telling it to enjoy the snack he packed for the trip with his good deed. For the day done, our boy waves goodbye and heads off, except the husky, now fully fed, starts trotting right behind him with its tail wagging. Gao Fan tries to shoo it away, but the dog just happily gets in his way. It gives him a big goofy nod, making it clear it is not going anywhere. A quick scan with his psychic eyes reveals this is a sea-level demon wolf. Trying to partner up, he finds it hilarious, but hey, a free demon wolf is a free demon wolf, so he officially adopts the goofy beast, promising it food in exchange for loyalty elsewhere in the zone. A new team of hunters discusses their plans to find a rare artifact. Their leader knows it is a long shot, considering the treasure is worth billions. One of his crewmates is more realistic, suggesting They just hunt monsters for cash. This leader tells him to quiet down, right as a hidden rule appears about not insulting others. At that exact moment, a dark energy spike erupts from the ground, shattering his shield. That invisible barrier he was counting on, gone in a heartbeat. The force of the blast sends him flying backward, completely out of control. Caught off guard, he barely sticks the landing, realizing he walked into a trap. His protective charm is toast, just a pile of broken shards. Left on the ground, glowing with a faint, dying purple light. He stumbles to his feet, heart racing. He must have broken a zone rule. His two crewmates are frozen, absolutely speechless at that sudden, invisible strike. They're panicking now, and I don't blame them. Their only defense is gone. One of them nervously asks if monsters will start popping up everywhere now. His buddy scoffs at the idea, sarcastically asking if he's trying to make friends. But then, the nervous one spots something in the distance and points it out. Their leader, still fuming, demands to know what they are gawking at. The crew immediately shushes him, telling him to keep his voice down. Meanwhile, Gao Fan is respectfully rating a corpse for clothes. Waste not, want not. Through their binoculars, the team watches him grill meat over a fire. He's got this new demon Wolf with him, and the bald guy is baffled. He can't believe this kid is alone out here without any barrier at all. His partner notes he's casually hanging out with a monster, too. Their leader watches the whole thing, mistaking Gao Fan's barbecue for a dark ritual. They jump to the only logical conclusion: he's some kind of powerful cultist. From their perch, it's the only way to explain his bizarre confidence. Of course, the ritual is just Gao Fan telling his new dog, Simba, to wait. Now the team is debating their next move from the shadows. They're wondering if he's the legendary divine son, totally immune to the rules. Their captain wisely decides against a fight. They have no idea what they're facing. The plan is simple: sit back, stay hidden, and watch the weirdo. With the steaks perfectly cooked, Gao Fan gives Simba the green light. But the dog suddenly freezes, dropping into an aggressive stance, growling at nothing. Just watch, here is where the ground erupts with a deafening roar. A massive glowing scorpion demon bursts straight from the snow. So much for a quiet barbecue. It's a sick-ass monster. These things are famous for burrowing underground to ambush their victims. Gao Fan immediately tenses up. He knows he is completely outmatched here. The scorpion lunges forward, pincers wide, ready to crush him to pieces. Our boy leaps backward, a desperate, last-second attempt to dodge that strike. Just as the beast closes in, Simba looks up, and he looks pissed. That scorpion stinger smashes into the spot where Gao Fan was just standing. Simba steps in, putting himself between his master and the monster. The beast lunges, massive pincers snapping to crush him instantly. Our boy dives backward, barely dodging the lethal strike. Just as the monster closes in, Simba appears. He looks up, clearly annoyed, while the scorpion beast attacks. That deadly stinger smashes the ground exactly where Gao Fan stood. Finally, his new pet steps in front to guard him. That goofy husky is gone, replaced by a terrifying demon Wolf in its true form. A massive beast now, those eyes glowing a menacing red. Gao Fan. Always the pragmatist dangles a stake, promising a mountain of meat if Simba wins. Turns out, that is exactly the motivation this demon Wolf needed to get serious. Fired up by the promise of a feast, Simba charges straight into the fray. But the scorpion easily parries, those armored claws blocking every single blow. Sparks fly everywhere. Finally, Simba finds an opening and sinks his teeth in. Deep into that pincer, he starts thrashing, trying to overpower the monster. But Gao Fan realizes it is a stalemate. They need a weak spot. He activates his psychic eyes, a fiery aura flaring up to skin the enemy. And there it is, a glowing blue joint right on the scorpion's stinger. Gao Fan shouts the plan, ordering Simba to aim for that exact vulnerability. With fresh orders, the demon Wolf lunges past the pincers to get behind it. He sinks his fangs deep into the joint, a sickening, wet crunch echoes out. Then he thrashes his head, ripping the entire weapon clean off the body. Gao Fan cheers from the sidelines like a proud if slightly terrified pet owner. The monster's primary weapon shatters, a burst of blue energy marking its defeat. Totally disabled, the severed tail clatters uselessly onto the snowy ground. Simba lets out a triumphant howl as Gao Fan congratulates his deadly boy. But the celebration is cut short. They are being watched. Elsewhere, the hunter team is having a meltdown, convinced he is a monster tamer. Their leader even wonders if he is the legendary puppeteer, some follower of a god. One crewmate has a simpler theory. Gao Fan is weak. They should just jump him. At that exact moment, Gao Fan appears on the ledge above, casually saying hello. You can see the pure, unadulterated shock on the captain's face. Our boy looks down, having clearly overheard their genius plan to ambush him. The hunters try to size him up, noting it is just one guy and a dog. Their leader points out there are 3 of them. The math is on their side. His buddy agrees, calling Gao Fan a cheap amateur who is ripe for the picking. Gao Fan starts to sweat, hoping they do not actually try anything. A new rule appears. Do not attack your own kind. Gao Fan is having a full-blown panic attack. He knows these guys do not know the rules. Even with Simba, he is dead meat, and their punishment won't help his corpse. Down below, the hunter leader stares him down, knife ready for a fight. With no time to think, Gao Fan realizes he has to pull a miracle out of his hat. He goes for the ultimate bluff, coolly asking if they have any idea who he is. That immediately throws the hooded hunter for a loop, reinforcing his divine theory. The leader, however, just thinks Gao Fan is stalling for time. He is dead meat. Their punishment won't matter much to a corpse. Down below, the hunter leader stares him down, knife ready to kill. With no time to think, Gao Fan realizes something critical. He needs a miracle fast, so he tries an ultimate bluff. He coolly asks if they have any idea who he really is. That question throws the hooded hunter for a loop, reinforcing his mystery. The divine son theory gains traction, though their leader remains skeptical. Fan is all talk and no substance. A total rookie move, but that bald guy. He's losing it, genuinely terrified they're about to offend a god's apostle. Shaken, the whole team respectfully asks for His Excellency's name. Gao Fan just looks down from his perch, flipping the script on them. He tells them it is only polite to introduce themselves first. Internally, he's cheering, patting himself on the back for diffusing the mess. With pure, unearned confidence, their leader Z60 instantly apologizes and introduces himself as an endurance-type psychic. Before he can finish, Gao Fan cuts him off with a sharp, commanding quiet. 60 is totally baffled by the sudden order, wondering what he messed up. Gao Fan declares that for drawing a weapon, 60 must endure one attack. He tells the hunter to stand still, triggering a hidden rule about his name. Poor 60 is on high alert, trying to dodge an invisible threat. He's sweating, bracing for the worst, when a sudden blast of energy smashes into the wall right beside him, just a warning shot. Then a massive spectral blade appears out of thin air, skewering him. The hunter collapses into the snow, taken out by a rule he never knew existed. The remaining 2 hunters are completely losing their minds. They're just staring, paralyzed in disbelief at the carnage. One guy is certain Gao Fan has an S-level word-based ability. Inside, Gao Fan is celebrating the fact that his bluff actually worked. He coldly asks who is next, and that is all it takes. The crew drops to their knees, begging for mercy, completely broken. With one final, icy glare, our guy tells them to get the hell out of his sight. They don't need to be told twice, scrambling away with their unconscious leader. Gao Fan watches them retreat, letting out a massive sigh of relief. He barely dodged certain death, and he knows it. He turns to Simba, promising the dog a big steak dinner for being such a good, intimidating boy. Meanwhile, at a nearby hunter outpost, the real fallout is brewing. 60's crewmate bursts in, frantic to report everything to his lord. A new commander, wearing some serious tech, calmly asks what the panic is. The guy explains they ran into an absolute monster out there. A high-tier hunter, at least a rank, maybe even an S-rank freak. Intrigued, the commander leans in and tells him to spill every detail. He describes a masked man with a demon Volf and bizarre word magic. He even mentions the guy might be a follower of a god. That last part, it gets the commander on his feet instantly. He demands the location, determined to see this follower for himself. 4 days later, deep in the restricted zone, the grind continues. All that hunting is paying off. Simba has finally evolved. The Volf is officially a B-level demonic beast. Gao Fan knows Simba can handle a B-class crocodile solo now. Speak of the devil, the Volf is already locked in a brutal fight, tearing into a massive armored croc that's retaliating with a wild blow. The beast swipes, claws glowing with energy, ready to crush him. Gao Fan screams for Simba to hit that soft underbelly. Thankfully, his demon Volf is actually sharp enough to follow the order. He lunges, tearing a massive, bloody chunk out of that weak spot. Gao Fan muses that a 3-second contact rule is annoying. It means he cannot even ride Simba, a real shame. Meanwhile, a winged figure is soaring high above the forest, scatting, and it quickly confirms that the kid with the demon Volf is exactly who they need. Turns out it is the commander's scout, reporting that Gao Fan's power looks like remote control, but their surveillance ends fast when a massive pillar of pink energy erupts. It has the whole squad thinking a legendary Forbidden's artifact just spawned down below. Simba stands triumphantly over the now-dead armored crocodile, and Gao Fan finally spots that ominous beacon lighting up the sky. His first thought, treasure, obviously. Figures since they're already out here, they might as well go investigate. The duo heads off through the strange pink forest toward the light. Gao Fan realizes he's already traveled 100 kilometers without even reaching the zone center, right before Simba stops dead in its tracks and lets out a warning howl. Looming over them is a massive stone golem, the source of the energy pillar, and it looks absolutely nothing like the small fry they've been hunting. He immediately recognizes it as the Black Serpent, a legendary gatekeeper. He knows, even with an evolved Simba, they don't stand a chance. So faced with a legendary gatekeeper, Gao Fan resorts to his one proven tactic: bribery with meat. And against all logic, the massive stone golem seems genuinely interested in the steak offering, giving our boy a sliver of hope that his absurd plan might actually work. Elsewhere, the Hunter Commander's squad tracks the same S-level energy spike. Convinced it's a Forbidden's artifact, their leader, Commander Wu, rallies the troops, ordering them to get ready to seize the prize. He warns them that the area spawns sentient monsters to guard these things, so they need to be careful, which is a little too late, as a swarm of insect creatures erupts from the ground to ambush them. The commander shouts a warning as the horde of monsters charges straight for his team, then orders everyone to unleash their psychic abilities and clear a path. His crew immediately transforms, revealing a whole squad of beast-type psychics, ready for a fight. This entire team, including a massive 3-headed Volf, squares up against the monster tide. They immediately start carving through the bug creatures with a flurry of colorful energy attacks. One hunter zips through the enemy ranks, slicing them to pieces with a glowing blade. After clearing the swarm, the team descends into the obsidian forest, the inner circle of the Forbidden Zone, but they are immediately greeted by a massive spectral snake, catching the commander completely off guard. He's caught off guard, and the python wastes no time firing a devastating beam. He barely manages to dodge, and one of his men identifies it an L-level monster, a hell nether python with highly corrosive attacks. To make matters even worse, more monsters are swarming the area. Drawn to all the chaos, Commander Wu orders his team to push through while his 3-headed Volf beast confronts the python. He's already yelling at his own beast to get back on its feet, showing just how outmatched they are. Commander Wu's 3-headed beast powers up, each head crackling with a different elemental energy, and unleashes a coordinated blast of fire, ice, and shadow. Magic on the incoming swarm, it creates a massive explosion that completely decimates the front lines with the path clear. The squad pushes forward while their captain stays behind to hold the line, coming face to face with that massive hell nether python looming over him. One of his men tries to land a hit, but his blade dissolves into nothing before it even connects. In the next second, the python's tail smashes into the three-headed Volf with brutal force. The snake sinks its fangs into one of the Volf's heads, its corrosive venom sizzling on contact. But the beast roars back, ready to prove it can bite back just as hard. It is a losing battle, though, as the python begins to coil around the Volf, constricting it completely. Even Commander Wu is feeling the heat. As the corrosive gas melts the gear right off his back, his team starts to panic, screaming that they are being overwhelmed and cannot hold out any longer. It turns out this whole forest is crawling with even more high-level monsters. Commander Wu finally realizes he might have slightly underestimated the dangers of this forbidden zone. So he makes the call, ordering a full retreat before they all get wiped out. He tries to save face, thinking no one could possibly break through a defense this strong anyway. Elsewhere, Gao Fan lets out a sudden, massive sneeze, completely oblivious. He wonders why he's hearing a battle. But when a simple stake is enough to bribe the guards, he turns to Simba for confirmation, who just gives a happy little whiff in agreement. The two of them casually stroll right past the now pacified Black Serpent Gatekeeper. 5 hours later, Gao Fan is looking less than thrilled with his scenic hike, having trekked 10 kilometers through this stone forest with the artifact still nowhere in sight. Suddenly, a small purple creature materializes right in front of him, catching his eye, which immediately reveals itself to be a massive class Scorpio glowing with menace. Instead of panicking, our boy is actually thrilled to finally find a worthy monster. He figures if he can tame this thing, he'll basically own the entire forbidden zone. So he unleashes his ultimate secret technique, the legendary barbecue meat attack. This class monster is completely baffled by this turn of events. Just staring at the food, it cautiously picks up the offering, giving it a good sniff before taking a bite. Just like that, the hostility is gone, replaced by a very friendly, sparkly scorpion. Unfortunately, his new friend immediately starts begging. Gao Fan is out of snacks, but the scorpion just turns its hungry eyes toward poor Simba. The whole plan is falling apart right now. He rushes to explain that Simba's family and definitely off the menu. The scorpion thinks for a second, then gives up and burrows away. It vanishes entirely, leaving Gao Fan standing there after a real dine and dash. And man, is our guy fuming. The monster ate his food and just ghosted. He sits down with Simba, realizing that a rank beasts aren't exactly easy to tame. It's basically trying to lure a dog with a meat bun and losing the bun. Simba lets out an offended little woof. Clearly not a fan of the comparison, Gao Fan has to awkwardly explain that the metaphor wasn't about him at all. Gao Fan has to break the bad news. He's officially out of food for his golem. But just as he settles for soup, Simba perks up, sensing something. He lets out a sharp bark as that purple scorpion comes flying back and drops a freshly hunted pig right at their feet as a gift. Turns out the rank monster didn't dine and dash, it just went on a grocery run for them. Elsewhere, at the energy source, a new hunter squad has tracked the Forbidden's artifact gate. Their leader orders the team to hold the perimeter while she tries to decrypt its rules. The crew, including a B-rank archer and a C-rank warrior, forms a line. Touching the gate, she confirms the psychic energy is a level. One guy, a sledgehammer user, offers the genius strategy of just smashing the thing open. The leader shuts that down. These artifacts follow rules, not physics. He argues that since they're clueless, they should just try something. Another guy with glowing iron fists decides to test that theory. Powering up, he unleashes a massive blow right into the seam between the doors, which, predictably, doesn't budge an inch. Under the full force of his attack, the entire squad just stands. They're in a moment of deeply awkward silence. Their leader reminds the impulsive hunter that brute force is totally useless here. On the bright side, she says his little stunt at least proves the artifact isn't aggressive, because if it were a high-risk type, she adds, he'd already be a puddle on the ground. With no other options, they're stuck in tedious trial and error. Just as the squad gets stumped, their leader senses a presence. Right on cue, Gao Fan strolls in, finally hitting the artifacts. Location: he casually looks over the blood-soaked battlefield. Noting it's not exactly a peaceful scene, that's when the leader spots him and his pets, immediately sensing trouble. The hunters square up, demanding to know who this newcomer is. But Gao Fan plays it cool, claiming he's only here to watch the show. Nobody buys that for a second, not in the middle of a forbidden zone. The leader starts crunching the numbers, and he likes what he sees. 6 guys versus Gao Fan's crew of 3. He's certain they've got the edge. He even convinces himself Gao Fan is just hesitating out of pure terror. Must be waiting for reinforcements to show up, he thinks. Based on that genius logic, the leader decides it's time to strike. Gao Fan just sighs, eyeing their B and C rank members with total boredom. The hunter leader puffs out his chest, preaching about how only the strong win. He kicks off the charge, leaving Gao Fan annoyed that his polite warning was ignored. Seriously, all he wanted was to be left alone. One hunter leaps out, screaming that killing the master solves everything. But before he can land the hit, the ground erupts. A massive purple scorpion bursts through, meeting his attack head-on. The leader's face goes pale as reality finally sinks in. This kid hasn't a rank pat. They are way out of their league. Gao Fan calmly reminds them he warned them not to start this. A system message pops up, helpfully noting the scorpion has entered hunting mode. Gao Fan adds that once it starts, even he can't call it off. The hunter leader is frozen, paralyzed by the sheer terror of it all. He's sledding buckets as the scorpions Orawashis over him like a wave. He immediately tries to backtrack, claiming they're just a humble poaching group. Gao Fan isn't buying any of it, though. Why were they acting so tough just 10 seconds ago? He casually brings up the fact that someone just threatened to kill him. The loudmouth hunter who made the threat denies it, calling it a misunderstanding. His boss smacks him, demanding he show some respect and call Gao Fan senior. The leader's attitude does a complete 180, turning into a groveling mess. He assumes Gao Fan is here for the treasure, too. Gao Fan just plays it cool, confirming that's basically why he showed up. He gestures to the glowing gate, asking if that is the prize they're stuck on. The leader nods eagerly, admitting they can't figure out how to open the thing. He graciously offers the artifact to Gao Fan as if it were fate. Yeah, right, he's just hoping to stay in one piece. His men are already whispering about their brilliant plan to let Gao Fan do the work. They think they'll just swoop in and steal the loot once it's open. Gao Fan sees right through them. They have absolutely no clue how the artifact works. He figures he'll play along, but he wants to know who he's dealing with first. He turns to the squad leader and asks him for an introduction. The guy puffs his chest again, announcing he is Wangwu, a B-level psychic swordsman. Gao Fan finds the name a little too generic and decides he needs to test him. Wangwu just smiles, totally oblivious to the setup. Gao Fan drops a bizarre question on him, giving him 10 seconds to solve 1 + 1. Wangwu is completely stumped, staring like he's never heard of basic math. He stammers, trying to figure out if this is some kind of trap. It is a trap, all right, and he's already fallen for it. Wu is totally stumped by the question, stammering out a shaky answer. Gao Fan calls him out, telling him he got the math completely wrong. This little pop quiz has a heavy price, because now that he knows Wangwu's real name, the artifact's rules are officially in play. In a flash, a pillar of violent purple energy erupts from the ground. It slams right under Wang Wu, launching him as the defense system kicks in. The squad rushes over, eyes wide, totally stunned their leader got wrecked by a simple math problem. As they haul him up, a bruiser from the group turns to Gao Fan, demanding to know what he thinks he's doing. Gao Fan just throws the question right back, his gaze turning ice cold. He exposes their brilliant scheme to use him as a lab rat to test the artifact's rules, leaving Wang Wu speechless, caught red-handed in his trap. One of his lackeys tries to lie his way out, but Gao Fan isn't buying any of their pathetic excuses. He lays it out, leave now, help him test the rules, or take the third option. And by that, he clearly means dying. Wang Wu looks ready to throw down. Gao Fan gives the squad 10 seconds to make a life-altering choice. The hunters start to panic, unwilling to ditch the treasure they bled for. Wang Wu makes his move, ordering a subordinate to cover his power-up. But watch this, a system message confirms they just triggered another rule. The hunter who moved to attack gets absolutely annihilated by the defenses. Gao Fan casually notes that all their tough talk just suddenly vanished. The entire squad is on their knees, begging for mercy and promising to scram. The remaining hunters scramble away, caught in a full-blown, desperate panic. Wang Wu finally gets the picture. Gao Fan just weaponized these ancient rules. He realizes this kid is operating on a completely different level. Once the coast is clear, Gao Fan and Simba stand alone in the snow. He admits it's a relief they didn't have to actually fight that annoying crew. But hey, he's definitely enjoying the rush of bending a forbidden stone to his will. Now for the real question. How does he actually lug this giant glowing door home? As he nears the gate, Simba starts barking like crazy. Gao Fan looks up to see a massive, ominous swarm gathering in the sky. From a vortex of dark energy, a new challenger finally appears. He introduces himself as a believer, this guy calling himself Raven. Clearly, he isn't here to make any friends. Gao Fan immediately recognizes the name as a world-famous terrorist group. Great, Raven explains that an artifact this powerful naturally attracts heat. But he warns that knowing the rules to open it is only half the battle. Apparently, whoever walks away with this prize becomes public enemy number 1. Gao Fan points out that for a guy so concerned, Raven doesn't seem too interested in leaving yet. He explains that an artifact this strong just naturally draws eyes to it. It attracts his own organization, but he warns, knowing the rules, that's only half the battle. Whoever walks off with the prize becomes public enemy number 1 for every major faction out there. Gao Fan points out the irony for someone so worried. Raven doesn't seem that interested. Turns out that artifact he was after was just a bonus. Raven's real target, Gao Fan himself. Our guy is honestly pretty confused by this sudden, intense interest. His system can't even scan Raven, just showing question marks. That means this new threat is at least a plus rank, maybe S-class. Raven smugly eyes Gao Fan from a distance, writing him off as a weak B-rank psychic. Gao Fan doesn't hesitate. He signals Simba to enter battle mode. The giant Wolf hits the field. Gao Fan realizes this guy has some crazy analytical skills to read him like that. Raven keeps underestimating his target, completely shrouded in a dark, ominous aura. But Simba doesn't wait for a signal. He lunges forward in a blur of motion. Gao Fan shouts a quick warning, telling his pet to be careful. Simba lets out a deafening howl, trying to push back that oppressive pressure. It's no use. A storm of razor-sharp purple needles rains from the sky. The wolf tries to power through with another roar, but the assault is relentless. Raven just scoffs from above, calling Simba pathetic as the wolf gets blasted back. He summons a massive stone fist, telling the beast to move. That fist snatches Simba midair, crushing him tight while Raven mocks his struggle. Just like that, Simba is completely wiped out, leaving Gao Fan in total shock. Raven demands surrender, then dives in for the kill. He's being beyond arrogant, sarcastically offering protection in exchange for a barbecue. But right before the strike lands, the ocelot scorpion erupts from the dirt. Gao Fan is caught off guard by his pet's sudden, life-saving intervention. That scorpion easily blocks the attack with a blast of pure energy. Suddenly, the S-class terrorist looks absolutely dumbfounded. Watch this, the combined power explodes, shattering the entire cliffside. Raven gets slammed by the counter, stunned by that raw, sudden force. He finally realizes Gao Fan is controlling a full-blown A-class demon. The stinger even manages to poison him, forcing Raven to scramble and detox. The scorpion doesn't let up, unleashing another vicious, high-speed assault. Raven has to concede for now, admitting he completely underestimated his opponent. He vanishes into a cloud of dark energy, leaving Gao Fan standing victorious. Of course, he drops a classic villain promise to return with real power. With the coast clear, Gao Fan sincerely thanks the scorpion for saving his life. He immediately checks on Simba and the rest, worried they took a bad hit. Turns out the whole crew is back on their feet and looking just fine. Our guy gets a little emotional. He's never going to forget this. Leaving Gao Fan standing there victorious, he makes that classic villain promise to return and show them what real power looks like. With the coast clear, Gao Fan offers a sincere thanks to his scorpion for that life-saving move. He immediately turns his attention to Simba and his other pet, truly worried that they might have been seriously hurt in the crossfire. But get this, the whole crew is back on their feet, looking perfectly fine. After that intense brawl, our boy gets a little emotional, promising he'll never forget how they risked everything just to keep him safe. With those pests out of the way, Gao Fan turns his focus back to the prize. He stares at the massive gate, his special eyes pulsing with intent. Suddenly, the rules for claiming the artifact flicker into view. It is surprisingly simple. He just has to recite a poem to the door. So Gao Fan starts rattling off some classical verses he happens to know, and the ancient gate instantly starts to crack and crumble away. Even he looks a bit shocked that a little poetry was the secret key. The entire structure shatters into 1,000 glowing shards before him. Watching the light fade, he muses that nobody in the 23rd century reads anymore. But his isolated past in the archives just gave him a major edge. Following his system's advice, he begins channeling his psychic energy. Gao Fan reaches out, palm flat against the cold surface of the artifact. He pours his essence in, expecting an easy win, but wait for it. A minute later, he is face down in the snow, completely passed out. Turns out he drained every last drop of his power and got zero reward. He admits hanging around those high-level psychics gave him an ego trip. His E-level energy is a literal joke against this O-level artifact. He needs a new plan, so he calls over his pets, Simba and the scorpion. He has a fun, wild idea in mind, and it sparks something big. A tiny pink light erupts from a distant, jagged cliffside. Hundreds of kilometers away, alarms start screaming inside a military base. Scientists are scrambling, tracking a massive, terrifying energy spike. It is coming from Module 7, where a containment unit sits. Inside, a red-haired woman floats, surrounded by crackling, teal electricity. An old man, Grandpa Mew, watches her, feeling a strange, deep connection. Her eyes suddenly snap open, glowing with a sharp, intense pink light. Grandpa Mew is overjoyed, pressing against the glass, calling out for Schuinger. But she is completely lost, asking him where they are and what happened. A nearby guard bluntly tells her they are guests of the military. Schuinger narrows her eyes, recognizing the guard from somewhere in her past. He strikes a goofy pose, introducing himself as Yang Hu. He starts bragging about his unforgettable, handsome face. But a reunion is the last thing on her mind right now. She demands he pay for the car her demon fight totaled earlier. Yang Hu starts sweating bullets, clearly not ready for an invoice. She demands to leave, but he just tells her to look down. He implies she is the reason they're all trapped in here. Schuinger cracks her knuckles, trying to process her own body. She finds herself encased in a massive, self-generated ice crystal. Grandpa Mew explains she has merged with a powerful energy stone. Now she wields a brand new ice ability, Total Control. She finally remembers the crystal he threw at her during the chaos. Standing inside her own ice fortress, she is in awe of this power. Young-hoo tells her to rest, promising a full report later. With a final, heavy click, the containment cell door seals shut. As the facility shuts down for the night, the guard immediately makes a call. He reports that their new asset has woken up. Her test results are in. She is a solid rank. They have to keep her hidden from the believers. Young-hoo promises he will do everything in his power to keep her safe. The very next morning, the mood in the room feels a lot more cheerful. Zooinger is actually celebrating. She hit in a plus rank just by taking a nap. She is thrilled, and honestly, you can really feel her excitement right here. Finally, she can protect her brother 17, and she asks if there is any news. Grandpa Mew just tells her to focus on recovering, admitting he is worried too. Just then, they hear the sound of heavy, deliberate footsteps approaching their room. In walks Young-hoo, checking in on his new high-value guest. She tells him she is ready to go find her brother, which totally shocks him. She thinks she has mastered her powers, but he is not here for a wellness check. He has got some serious news to deliver, and Zooinger looks at him expectantly. Wondering what could be so important, he turns to Grandpa Mew, asking him a question. Why has he not told her the truth about a certain delicate matter? Grandpa Mew and Zooinger listen, their faces growing serious as Young-hoo speaks. He lays out the new plan, revealing they have tracked believer activity nearby. They need to move her to a secure city immediately for her own protection. But Zooinger has only one priority, her missing brother 17, demanding they go now. Young-hoo flatly refuses, explaining that with her unstable powers, she is too dangerous. She has no idea what he is talking about, completely baffled by his sudden shift. To prove his point, he moves fast and throws a surprise punch directly at her. It triggers a massive, instinctual flare of her newly acquired ice abilities. She effortlessly blocks the attack, her power lashing out to defend her on its own. His entire arm gets encased in thick ice, though he does not seem bothered. Zooinger, however, is completely horrified by what she just did unconsciously. Young-hoo explains that her plus power is basically a ticking time bomb. It is all tied to her emotions, and the terrifying reality starts to sink in. He then pulls out a photo of her brother, making one thing very clear. This is for his safety too, and that gets their full attention immediately. As they both desperately ask where 17 is, he drops the bombshell location. His last known position was outside Restricted Area 77, and he may have gone inside. Zooinger is floored, finally realizing her brother made it out into the wider world. Young-hoo confirms it is true, handing over all the registered information they have. She suddenly remembers 17 was always special, the only one who could leave. He assures them the search is ongoing, trying to keep her from panicking too much. Seeing she has no other options, Zooinger agrees to cooperate with their plan. But she is making two conditions, and she is not budging on either of them. Her first demand is simple. Once she controls her power, she becomes a demon hunter. As for her second, much more important request, the stakes are even higher. She insists they increase the search for 17 and guarantee his absolute safety. She needs to know he is coming home. Speaking of whom, 18 hours ago, Gao Fan was watching that very same thing. Speaking of whom, 18 hours ago, Gao Fan was watching that very same. The artifact crackles to life. Gao Fan and his pet stare at the portal. Even he admits it looks a little dangerous, maybe just a peek. A quick check around the back reveals nothing, so he dives in. His eyes flare, time to analyze exactly what this glow means. It is a gate of space, a personal teleporter bound to his own soul. It can go anywhere he remembers, so he decides it sounds safe enough. He figures he might as well give it a shot, right here, right now. He has the brilliant idea to pick a destination first, but the gate disagrees. It has zero interest in waiting. His entire arm gets yanked inward. The vortex sucks him in before he can even react, slamming shut. His pets are left in the dust, staring at the fading energy wisp. They are totally baffled. That little spark vanishes across the snowy range. Meanwhile, Gao Fan is on a one-way trip through a chaotic dimension, hurtling toward an unknown exit at a completely uncomfortable speed. He hits a couch face first, with absolutely zero grace. He sets up, complaining about the landing and his shredded clothes. He is in some fancy bedroom, with no clue how he arrived. Gao Fan tries to think where he is, recalling his last random thought. A purple-haired woman storms in, clearly annoyed by the sudden noise. He realizes with dawning horror he was thinking of Hung Lang Man, but she is ecstatic, instantly recognizing him as her little brother. Our boy starts panicking, realizing he is in his sister's bedroom. She is convinced she dreamed him into existence, lunging for a hug. She is getting way too close while he tries to explain himself. She is not having any of his excuses, telling him to stay. He makes a last-ditch effort, suggesting she might just be drunk. That word hallucinating seems to give her a very bad idea. She pulls handcuffs out of thin air, much to his absolute terror. She admits to having a few drinks and thinks he looks out of it. Here is the crazy part. She wants to cuff him to the bed. With his hands shackled, Gao Fan is officially out of good options. In a moment of pure desperation, he screams for his door to open. A swirling pink portal erupts right in front of his face. It yanks him out before she can even process what is happening. She is left holding empty cuffs, completely bewildered by his exit. She just shrugs, figuring she was hallucinating because she missed him. Back in the snowy mountains, the gate spits out the discarded cuffs. Gao Fan tumbles through the void, his main complaint being his wardrobe. Teleporting is hell on his clothes. He lands in a snowy alley, deciding he needs dimension-proof pants. Our boy takes a second to realize he is in a sprawling city. Through the void, his main complaint being that teleporting is pure hell on his clothes. After landing in a snowy alley, he decides his first priority is finding some dimension-proof pants. Our boy takes a second to realize he is in the middle of a sprawling city. A strange city unfolds below as a military chopper slices through the snowy sky. Inside, Shuinger gets her very first real look at the outside world. She confesses to Young that this is her first time ever riding a plane. He explains they have no choice. Monsters swarm the ground once it's dark. The city stays safe thanks to massive walls and a powerful group. It's called the Night Watch, and Young breaks down the different roles for her. First, the Guardians defend the perimeter against anything trying to break in. Then there are the elites, the Demon Hunters, his own squad. They take the fight straight into enemy territory, no matter the risk. Their main job, culling monster populations deep inside those restricted zones. He also mentions the road protectors who keep the supply convoys moving. Between cities, scientists known as knowledge seekers risk everything. They hunt for dangerous artifacts that could change the war. Those same researchers also double as teachers at the academy for new users. Shuinger is totally fired up, shouting she wants to be a frontline fighter. Yang, whose ego visibly inflates, he's loving the attention. He tells her to drop the formalities and just call him Brother Who. So she immediately leans in, dying to hear more about his demon hunter team. But this makes him awkwardly confess something he'd rather keep hidden. He's actually the weakest one on the whole squad. Turns out, the other 3 members are way more intimidating than him.